Asking someone for a Dvar Torah this week is a bit of a trick question. In Israel, we'll be reading Parsha Behalotcha. However, in America and Chutz La'aretz in general, we'll be reading the Parsha of Naso. Why is this true? Why did this happen? Why is there a discrepancy? We celebrated last week the holiday of Shavuos, and in Eretz Yisrael, this finished on Friday, allowing for the normal Parsha Shavua of Naso on Shabbos. However, in Chutz La'aretz, with the extra day of Yom Tov, the Yom Tov laning overrode the Parsha Shavua, and therefore Naso was delayed until this week. For the next few weeks, we'll have different Parshas for Eretz Yisrael than the rest of the world, which is important to keep in mind when calling family and friends. I want to share a couple of ideas about the calendar and discuss hopefully their deeper meaning as well. In general, I was wondering, when else can we have this discrepancy? Can we have it by Sukkot? So the answer is no. The Shulchan Aruch, or Chaim and Simin Tav Chav Ches, brings certain code words for celebrating the holidays, one of which is Lo Adu Rosh Hashanah, that the holiday of Rosh Hashanah cannot fall out on a Sunday, Aleph, a Wednesday, Dalid, or a Friday, Vav, Lo Adu Rosh Hashanah. As Sukkot, the first day, falls out the same day of the week as Rosh Hashanah, being 2 weeks later, and a week after that, we celebrate Shmini Atzeres. So Shmini Atzeres can never be on a Friday, which means that the Simchas Torah of Chutz La'aretz can never be on a Shabbos, and therefore we can never have this discrepancy starting Sukkot time. We can, however, have this discrepancy beginning in Pesach, and in those years it's more dramatic having this split. In general, we strive to arrange the calendar in a way in which we read Parshas Bamidbar right before the holiday of Shavuos. The Shulchan Aruch, again in Siman Tav Chav Ches, gives a code word for this as well, that we strive to have Bamidbar, in some years also Naso, but at least have Bamidbar right before the holiday of Shavuos. The code word is Minu v'Itzru, that we should count, we should have the census that we read about in Parshas Bamidbar, followed by celebrating Itzru, the holiday of Atzeres, the holiday of Shavuos. Why is this so? So I have to share two ideas. One is the Gemara in Rosh Hashanah, really the Mishnah in Rosh Hashanah, says Ba'arba Prakim Olam Nidon B'Pesach Al Atfua B'Atzeres Al Peres Ha'ilan, that we have 4 times of the year in which we are judged. We'll only discuss the one relevant to us, that we are judged on Shavuos for the fruits of the tree. For fruits, we know the Rosh Hashanah of Tu B'Shvat, but we have a different day in which we are judged for the fruits of the year, and that day is on Shavuos. And therefore there's an idea that we want to enter the new year. We enter it on the right foot. So the klalos, the curses in the end of Sefer Vayikra and Parshas Behalotcha, we want that to be before we start off the new year, and therefore we want to have a buffer between Behalotcha and Shavuos, which naturally would mean having the Parsha of Bamidbar, and rarely we also have Naso as well. That's one idea, but I think there's a deeper level that we can strive to understand, which is that this code word of Minu v'Itzru, I think, tells us something even deeper, that this idea of counting Am Yisrael is something very, very special. In general, when we do a mitzvah, we can do it by ourselves, we can do it privately, we can do it with our family and friends, we can maybe even do it with a few hundred members of Klal Yisrael together at Shul. We can do certain mitzvahs when we do Kriyas HaTorah, or if we do other mitzvahs involving a crowd. However, it's very hard to find any sort of mitzvah that would be on a Klal Yisrael national level for all Jews together. In my mind, I think Kabbalas HaTorah, accepting the Torah, and the census of counting every member of Klal Yisrael are maybe the only two that I can think of. If you have others, I'd be very happy to hear from you. The idea of a census, I think, is that each individual in Klal Yisrael has their own worth, has their own personal mission to contribute, but we join together, we have a very high level of unity of Achdus, that this is a mitzvah that we can only perform if everyone contributes. I hope that we can strive together to achieve greater Achdus together in Klal Yisrael, to have a year of bracha and growth for all the fruits of our labor, with our personal growth, the growth for our children, our families, and communities, and hopefully we can continue to learn and grow together.
Good Shabbos, good Shabbos, good Shabbos.